Today, I want to take you on a fun journey through time and language. We'll explore why in English, Thursday is called Thursday. I know, it sounds simple, but there's more hidden in that word than you might imagine. Stories of gods, thunder, Vikings, and linguistic twists that reach all the way from ancient Rome to your everyday calendar. So, let's get into it. When you hear Thursday, you probably just think about your routine, the day between Wednesday and Friday, right? But here's the surprising part. The name Thursday is actually a tribute to a god. Not just any god, but Thor, the hammer-wielding Norse god of thunder. You might know Thor because of the comics or superhero movies, but he was already famous in the north of Europe long before Marvel existed. The story behind the name goes way back, like really far. In Old English, Thursday was written as Thunresdag. And if you go even further back in Old Norse, it was Thorsdagur, both meaning Thor's Day. Even today in places like Norway and Denmark, Thursday is Torsdag. Shows you just how consistent this tradition has been for hundreds and hundreds of years. But why Thor, and not some other god or planet? That's the next twist in this story. To answer that, we need to travel to ancient Rome. The Romans also named their days of the week after gods, but they used their own pantheon. For the day we now call Thursday, they named it after Jupiter, their god of thunder and the sky. In Latin, it was Dies Jovis, or the day of Jupiter. That's why, for example, Thursday in French is jeudi, and in Italian it's giovedì. It traces straight back to Jupiter, not Thor. So when Northern European peoples came into closer contact with the Romans, especially through trade and, let's be honest, a bit of invading, they noticed the week names. Only they didn't worship Jupiter, they had their own god of thunder. So instead of copying directly, they swapped out Jupiter for the home team. That's how the Roman Day of Jupiter became Day of Thor for the Anglo-Saxons, Vikings, and their neighbors. The same thing happened with other days of the week. For example, Tuesday comes from Tyr, the Norse god of war, who was seen as equivalent to Mars, the Roman god of war. Wednesday is named after Odin, sometimes called Woden in Old English, while Friday honors either Freya or Frigg, another Norse goddess. It's fascinating to think that the English days of the week are basically a lineup of old gods, some Roman, some Norse, all mashed together in the names we use all the time. Thor himself is an exciting figure. If you look at old myths, he's strong, loyal, and always ready to defend the gods and humans against giants and chaotic forces. He rides in a chariot pulled by two stubborn goats, and his hammer, called Mjolnir, was said to cause thunderstorms. People believed Thor protected them from evil and was always one of the most loved among Norse gods. Even today, Thor is a common first name in some Nordic countries. Let's step back and think about how these stories traveled. During the early Middle Ages, especially around the 8th and 9th centuries, Viking tribes from Denmark, Norway, and Sweden invaded the British Isles. They brought their language, customs, and, of course, their gods. As Viking and Saxon communities blended with the old Roman influence, English as a language picked up Norse ways of saying things, including the days of the week. Today, 4 days in English come directly from Norse gods: Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. There's something captivating about how these ancient traditions stick with us. Most of us probably don't think twice about what Thursday really means. But every week as we make plans for Thursday or wish someone a happy Thursday, we're actually keeping a little piece of Viking mythology alive. It's like a tiny tribute to Thor that's wrapped up in the ordinary rhythm of life. What strikes me is how different languages handled this inheritance. Romance languages descended from Latin kept the names linked to Roman gods, like Jeudi, Giovedì, and Jueves for Jupiter. Some Germanic languages did what English did. In Danish, Norwegian, and Swedish, it's still Torsdag. In German, it's Donnerstag, which means Thunder Day. So instead of naming it after the god, they named it after his favorite weather. Either way, the god of thunder is the star, and it gets even more interesting if you look beyond Europe. In many Slavic languages, Thursday means the fourth day, just numbering its spot in the week. Kind of like how we call Wednesday quarta-feira in Portuguese, or quinta for Thursday. So these old gods and their names aren't everywhere, but they left their stamp on lots of cultures through history and language. You might wonder, does Thursday have some special place in modern culture? In the United Kingdom, for example, all general elections have taken place on a Thursday since 1935. In the United States, Thanksgiving always falls on the fourth Thursday in November. That's kind of cool. These ancient names shape important modern routines. In Australia, Thursday is movie night, and people often get paid on Thursdays, so shopping malls stay open late. Even this routine part of the week carries echoes of ancient power and history. And maybe next time it thunders on a Thursday, you'll remember that Thor is still swinging his hammer across the sky. The past really is all around us, hidden in words and habits we don't even notice. So let me wrap this up by repeating the key point here. The name Thursday in English is not random. It's a living trace of Norse mythology, a way that the power and personality of Thor, the god of thunder, still shapes the language we use and the rhythm of our weeks. When you say Thursday, you're saying Thor's Day, a tradition thousands of years old, still ticking away in our modern world. Thanks for exploring this with me. One simple word, carrying with it mighty stories, wild gods, and a thunderous past that we barely ever stop to recognize. Have a great Thursday, and remember, you're actually thunderously on brand, thanks to Thor. See you next time.